Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premiere Networks on Saturday, July 19th, 2014. This is episode 1101. Enjoy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about computers and the internet and smartphones and home theater and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. Man, I got excited for a moment here. I came in and I had a box from AT&T Texas. I thought, well, if AT&T's sending me something, it must be good. And then lo and behold, I opened the box, and inside it looks like a brand new Amazon Fire phone, sealed and everything. But then I noticed that the seal was broken, and I opened it up, and there's no phone inside. It's just an empty package. Well, it's not empty. I have the cabling. Now, what do you think happened there? I guess there's a couple of possibilities. One, somebody stole the phone from the package. The other, that AT&T's punking me. Okay. That's strange. Fire phone comes out on Friday. I thought it was a little strange getting it so early. Maybe they meant to send me a review unit and just sent me the review box instead. We will do our official review of the Fire phone next weekend, folks. Presuming this isn't the actual Fire phone I bought, I think this is much more likely a review unit from AT&T. Well, how are you? Did you hear? I mean, everybody's heard it by now. I was going to play it on the radio show, and now I feel like everybody's heard it. But the famous Comcast customer call. Did you hear that, Heather? Ryan Block, my friend, Veronica Belmont and Ryan Block. I've known them for a long time. Ryan was the founder of Engadget, editor-in-chief. He left to form his own company, Gadget, which he sold back to America Online. He's now some sort of high-end mucky-muck at America Online. Veronica Belmont's hosted shows for us. She's wonderful. She hosts a show called Sword and Laser. She's talented, former CNET anchor. Veronica and Ryan were moving last week. I knew this. They were moving to a nice new place, and they decided they wanted to get rid of Comcast. Cue the scary music. Apparently, you don't get rid of Comcast. They live in San Francisco, and so they're lucky in some respects. There are other choices. Many areas of the country, your cable company is your cable company. That's it. Comcast is the only way you can watch TV. And maybe if some of us, we have two choices, the cable company and the phone company for internet access. In fact, that's about the way it is, according to studies, about 80% of the country. You have two choices for internet, your phone company or your cable company. They decided they were going to go with a different service called Astound, a service I'm not familiar with, but apparently Comcast was, because when they called the Comcast representative to cancel, they made the mistake of telling him that they were going to a competitor. And hilarity ensued. Ryan says that Veronica was on the phone with the guy for 10 minutes, growing increasingly frustrated. So finally, he took over and started recording the call. Now, I was going to play it for you. I asked their permission, and they said, yeah, go ahead, please. We'd love some help. I mean, it's really painful. But probably you've all heard it by now, and it's so horrifically painful that I don't know if I really want to subject. I'll play a little bit for you. But
okay, so why is that what you want?
Because that's what I want.
Okay, so, I mean, there has to be some sort of reason behind it. That's what we're trying to find out.
This is the Comcast representative speaking to Ryan.
We just want to find out what it is that's causing a customer that's been with us for a long time to leave.
Because that's what we want.
Okay? I mean, you've been with us since, around 2005. 9 years you've been a Comcast customer. Okay? After a decade. Okay? Clearly, the service was working great for you.
He goes on and on. We're the #1 service. It's not going to be as good. He will not let Ryan cancel. It takes 18 more minutes, a total of half an hour, for Ryan to finally convince him, look, I want to cancel. The rep is very disgruntled and unhappy and, frankly, peevish about the whole thing. Ryan says, can I have a confirmation number? The guy says, no. He says, you're canceled. I guess the guy didn't realize who he was talking to. Ryan, actually, Veronica posted this, and it went viral. It's been played everywhere. You've heard it by now on every radio station. David Letterman's played it. The networks have played it. Comcast, which is, as I've said many times, the worst company in America, has been saying of late, we want to be Apple. We want to be, it's customer first, but it's not customer first. It never has been. Comcast apologized and said, oh, this is horrible. We're going to investigate. You know, who knows? They'll probably fire the rep, which is wrong because that's not the rep's fault. You need to understand what Comcast and many other companies, chiefly monopoly companies in this country, do. They pay and hire customer retention experts whose really sole job it is to keep you as a customer. So much so that the customer retention expert gets paid minimum wage plus bonuses. Bonuses which can amount to $1,000 a month more if they don't let anybody go. So if you listen to this call, you'll realize that's what's going on. This guy is not fighting for Comcast. This guy's hearing what Ryan's saying. He just, not on my watch is his attitude. In fact, he even says, why don't you go into the store and cancel? Don't cancel with me. Go into the store. And Ryan says, I don't want to cancel in the store. I don't want to go to the store. I want to cancel with you. No. You can't. Because it's going to cost him money. And I actually feel for the rep because the rep is probably, there's a difference between minimum wage and a decent wage. You can only lose so many customers in a month. Every customer you lose costs you. According to somebody who claims to be a Comcast representative, later by the way, verified by, he posted it on Reddit, and I think it was later verified by Engadget or The Verge, somebody. He really was a Comcast representative for 9 years. He explained it. He said, look, what they do is it's kind of a takeaway. They give you a certain salary, but and if you keep 75% or 85% of your customers, you get to keep that full salary. But when it goes to 75%, you lose a lot of it. And 60%, you lose more. And you can get to the point where you're making minimum wage. And that can happen on the last day of the month, which this may have been for this guy. So, I mean, in a way, I think if this guy gets fired for Comcast, it's the best thing that ever happened to him. It's a terrible job. It's a terrible company. And it's not the only company that does this, and it really is shameful. These are companies that are so strong, so powerful, so monopolistic, they don't really care. It isn't customer first. But it's bad for business. You know, I called Comcast last night, dreading it, because I wanted to buy more stuff. I wanted to upgrade. And I had such a horrific experience that after an hour talking to the guy, he finally demonstrated he had no idea what he was doing. He said, so you want to downgrade? I said, no, and I'm not talking to you anymore, and hung up. So this costs Comcast in many ways. Here I am, a Comcast customer wanting to spend more, and I haven't. I can't. I won't because I can't bear talking to these jerks. What kind of company is this? What kind of company is this? What kind of world do we live in? So, as Ryan said, and I think this was really right on, he says, please don't fire that representative. Change your corporate culture. Customers need to come first. And companies newer companies like Amazon are really proving this. Hugely successful by putting the customer first. Unbelievable. Oh, yeah, by the way, I shot that customer rep's numbers to heck because I was on for so long with him. It's crazy. You go to the Comcast website. I want to add a channel, Turner Classic Movies, and I'm willing to pay for a whole additional tiered package, quite expensive additional tiered package, just to get this one channel. On the website, you go through the process. Then they say, okay, when would you like the installer to come? No, I don't need an installer. I just want another channel. I have all the equipment. It's all working. So I got in the chat. The guy says, oh, yeah, just go through that, and then you're going to get another chat representative who's going to tell you, you tell him that, and then they'll cancel the installation, and then this guy says no, but it was, how can a company this successful making this much money, and now they want to merge with Time Warner, making them more powerful, more of a monopoly? Just say no. Just say no. And you know, at this point, I'm going to cut the cable. Get these guys out of my house. The worst company in America. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It was unbelievable. How come they can't have a website? You know, I want to spend more money with them. I literally want to spend more money with them. I want to upgrade. And, of course, you can't get just Turner Classic. You have to go to another, you know, $20 a month tier to get it. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. At first, their website says I'm going to lose CNN, A&E, AMC. So I asked the rep. He says, no, that's a mistake. You're not going to. But this is your website. Would you please? Look, you've got some money. Make the website work. And then I have to, he says, just schedule and install. We'll take care of that later. Of course, I have no faith in anything that they tell you. For all I know, July 25th, the installer is going to roll up saying, I'm ready to install something. I don't know what. Turner Classic Movies? No, it's not here on the list. They want you to have telephone service. I don't want it. I pay Comcast something upwards, almost $400 a month now for business class internet. That's $200 a month, and cable almost $200 a month. And I'm trying to give them more money, and it's unbelievable, horrific. The only reason they win is because they're a monopoly. This is why you don't want monopolies. If there were another cable company in town, another internet source, decent internet source in town, I would have shifted. I would have gone. But DSL's not. I'm too far out of town. It's not an option.
Do you have CNN on? Or is
yes. Why?
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering if there was some sort of breaking news.
Oh, there's always breaking news on CNN.
If it ain't breaking,
you mean
don't fix it.
actually breaking news? Let me check. They're in a commercial right now, so it can't be too big.
Okay.
They're just horrible. And then AT&T sends me a box without a phone in it.
What is going on out there in the universe? I'm telling you.
I guess these are first world problems, but still.
It's just a little depressing.
It's a free market. Go elsewhere for business, says Garson. I know you're being sarcastic or ironic because, of course, it isn't a free market. You can't go anywhere else. Cable television is dominated by your local cable company, in most cases Comcast.
Damn monopoly.
Ironically, when they did have a choice, Veronica and Ryan did have a choice, they could go to Astound. Comcast, that's when they got the worst treatment from I think all the cable companies probably are this way. All the wireless companies are probably this way. I think a lot of companies make it very hard to cancel. You know, what's happened with this Ryan and Veronica story is that people are commenting everywhere saying, oh, yeah, you should hear this, you know, AOL in their day did this. Everybody does. That's probably what I should do because I don't really need Comcast anymore. I have Comcast Business Internet. I can keep that. See, my real fear is that because right now I'm paying for home internet service and business in the same thing, even though they took the home router out. I thought they'd cancel that, but no, of course they don't talk to one another. They just took the router out. And you just don't want to get on the phone with these people. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Let's talk about something more cheerful than Comcast. The worst company in America. Consumerists actually had a vote about who was the worst company in America. Comcast first won in 2010. They got beat out. I'm sure you could think of a few other terrible companies in America. But this year, again, the worst company in America. But we want to be like Apple. You know, Brian Roberts, CEO of Comcast, it takes more than just saying you want to be like Apple to be like Apple. You understand that, right? Something more cheerful. Weird Al Yankovic. Oh, don't you love what he's doing? Lately, you know, you got to think the guy's been around a long time. He's got fans now who started listening when they were teenagers who are well into their 40s. How do you stay relevant? Well, he's got a new album out. And he's releasing one video a day, and they're great. They're hysterical. We'll play some of them a little later on. He's just, you know, part of the problem though Al faces. Al was the guy, right, who did the parody songs. Not anymore. Now everybody in America can do parody songs and publish them and have a global audience, thanks to the internet. Like Iyasha, who's 13 years old. And has done a parody of the Comcast call. And she's posted it on YouTube. Everybody's a superstar these days. I love it. And of course, the Atlantic magazine has her on the front page. She's actually taken the transcript of Ryan and Veronica's call and turned it into a love ballad. Anyway, Weird Al, if you haven't yet, what he's also done, he's so smart. Or somebody, whoever's plotting this internet strategy, he's so smart because he's released his videos on different platforms: Funny or Die, Yahoo, The Nerdist. The latest that came out today is on Pop Crush. It's so this way he's getting all these different internet audiences involved. This is called First World Problems. I guess this is about Comcast too, isn't it? Oh, little ad for Vivo in front. Sorry about that. You can't avoid it anymore, can you? Weird Al has stayed weird. 8888. Ask Leo. All first world problems. Oh, I love those. We've got nothing but first world problems here. 8888 Ask Leo. First world problems. Have you got any? You give me a ring. 888-827-5536. If it's about computers, the internet, smartphones, home theater. Our home theater guru is coming up in about 10 minutes, Scott Wilkinson. You give me a ring and ask your question. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Heather Hammond, our phone ranger, answering the calls. Who should we start kick the show off with?
Oh, it's one of your favorite questions.
Oh, good.
Rusty in San Diego wants you to help him spend his money.
Is it a first world problem? First world problem? Should we?
It kind of is. But he's starting a business, so.
Oh, no, that's important. I want to support innovation.
Yes.
Rusty, Leo, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Leo. How are you today?
I'm very well. What can I do for you?
My old computer is ready to go. It's time to get a new one, and I want to do everything. I want to get a computer, a tablet, a new router, and a new printer.
Let's get everything all at once.
Yes.
You're going to start a business?
I have a small business now. I'm a real estate broker.
Great. Well, that's the first question. You know, it's funny. For a long time, when people said, I want to buy a computer, the first question asked was, well, what do you want to do with it? What software? And I guess that hasn't really changed much. Because you're a realtor, are most of the applications you use on Windows?
Yes.
Okay. So that eliminates the Macintosh side of the world, or the Linux side, I guess. Do you want this computer to be portable or desktop?
Desktop.
Have you okay, because one way that you could eliminate the tablet and computer purchase is to get something like Microsoft's Surface Pro 3, which is a tablet and a laptop.
I hadn't thought of it. That's why I'm calling you, Leo.
Yeah, so that's one way to go. These are pretty nice. They're very lightweight. You can detach. You have to buy the keyboard, but if you don't use the keyboard, it's just like a tablet. It's a tablet running Windows 8 though, 8.1. So it's the latest version, and all your realty programs will run on it just fine. That's one problem with a tablet. A lot of times tablets won't run the same programs. Are there some programs you use that run on iPad?
Not that I do, because I don't have an iPad.
Okay, so you're not worried about that?
No, not at all.
I think I would look at the Surface Pro 3 to start with. That's now, if you say you want a desktop like on your office desktop, then you maybe something bigger. But could you live with a laptop on your desktop?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'd start by looking at the Surface Pro 3. I think it's a pretty nice Windows 8.1 computer.
Okay, and that's also going to be a...
It's a tablet and a laptop. So you attach the keyboard. There are other companies that do these. Asus does one called the Transformer. Same idea. You can undock the screen, and suddenly it's a tablet you can carry around. But I think Microsoft's kind of done it right with the Surface. It's called the Surface Pro 3. If you want to save money, the Surface Pro 2 is still available, but the 3 is a lot better.
Okay, and where is a good place to find that?
I'm looking to see where you're in San Diego. I don't know if there's a Microsoft store near you. That would be the best place to do it. But unfortunately, unlike the Apple stores, the Microsoft stores are in very limited locations. But see if you could find one that's near enough that you would go visit it. And then if there is, that would be where I'd get it. But otherwise, you can go to any place that you'd buy computers, at Best Buy or that kind of thing. I was going to say a CompUSA. Let's see if there's one in San Diego. No CompUSAs anymore.
I don't think so.
Nope, they're gone. Things have changed. They really have.
And to do other stuff here, like at home, when my wife has a tablet, and I still would need a router, wouldn't I?
If you're going to use Wi-Fi at home or have more than one computer on your internet access, you do need a router. Those are, there is one in the Fashion Valley Mall. Thank you. James DeRuvo, our show notes guy, says Fashion Valley Mall in San Diego on Friars Road. There's a Microsoft store.
I know right where that is.
And they'll have routers you can get there as well. And printers that'll all work together. It's probably a good idea if you know what you're going to get to kind of go to that store and have them set it all up for you.
Well, based on your ads, I'm looking at that Epson all-in-one.
For a business, small business, the Workforce Pro is spectacular. And yes, they're an advertiser. I am paid to say that. However, I bought one before they started paying me to say that, and I do, in fact, love it.
Okay.
All right.
That helps me tremendously.
Great, Rusty.
Very much.
Head on down to the mall.
I will. Thank you, Leo.
Good luck with your business. That's awesome. We're going to take a break. Scott Wilkinson, home theater guru, coming up. We'll also talk about the fact that Microsoft's laying off 18,000 people. But that's not it's not bad. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thanks.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, anything. I got some questions. We've been talking in the chat room about a few things.
Okay.
I do have a question for you, though.
Yes.
I need to get a Windows laptop.
Oh, I saw that, and I haven't had a chance to respond. Yeah.
That's all right.
Tell me again.
For video calibration software.
Yeah, you can get. I mean, I know he wants it under $500. There's tons of crappy Windows laptops. If that's all he's using it for, there's no reason to get anything fancier.
It's not he. It's me.
Oh, you.
Yeah. You know,
I would look at the Acers. I think they have a number of. Here's a $278 one.
The software company recommends 2 gigahertz dual core.
Yeah, that's about as low as you can go. You won't be able to buy anything that bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2 gigahertz dual core is like the bottom of the barrel?
Yeah, they don't, nothing that's like. This $278 laptop has a 2.1 gigahertz. Actually, this Celeron may not be dual core, so let's not get that. Here's an Aspire. Actually, let's look at the S3. I actually have the S7, which I love. This is an i3, which is quad core. And you know what? If they're saying 2 gigahertz dual core, they're really saying just don't get anything that's 15 years old.
Right. And 4 gigs of memory, RAM they want.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, you're not using it for anything else?
No.
And it has to be under 500, right?
Not necessarily, but
yeah.
No.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Scott Wilkinson is here. Home theater guru, the man who looks and laughs like Santa Claus. What'd I tell you? How are you, sir?
I am very good, thank you. And you?
I am very well, thank you. So,
Excellent.
Scott is editor-in-chief at the. Can I help you? No? Okay. At the. People forget I'm doing a radio show. It's so casual in here. At the AVS Forums, avsforum.com. You probably noticed that when you were here a couple of weeks ago.
I did.
Very relaxed environment.
So nice.
Can I help you? No, I'm just looking for the bathroom. It's down the hall. Go turn left.
Down the hall.
Yeah. And he also does a great podcast called the Home Theater Geeks Podcasted. Oh, you had another audio file on this week at twit.tv/HTG.
Yeah, Michael Fremer is the audiophile's audiophile.
Golden ears.
Seriously golden ears. And we were talking about high-res audio, of course, and vinyl. He's a big vinyl.
Yeah. I'm curious what he thinks about this new trend towards high-res audio. Neil Young's
he thinks
Pono
it's great. I mean, certainly he prefers vinyl.
He still thinks vinyl's better, yeah.
Yeah. But he is of the school that audio measurements aren't everything. In fact, they aren't the most important thing. What's important is the enjoyment that you get out of it. And for him anyway, and for people that he turns on to this whole idea, vinyl, gives you that.
Makes people happy.
Makes people happy. It's an ineffable quality.
The only problem is, and I'm not sure I disagree with him, actually. I think I do agree with him that not every component of what makes music wonderful can be measured in a
That's exactly his point.
However, that makes it very difficult to eliminate purely subjective measures. On the order of, well, I paid more for it, so it must sound better. If there's no way to measure it, then there's no way to contest that. If it sounds better to you, but we don't know why it sounds better to you. The psychoacoustics it might be,
or it might be expectation bias.
Exactly,
expectation bias, which is you paid a bunch of money, you expect it to sound better, so of course you say, of course it sounds better.
It must sound better.
That it sounds better, right? Exactly.
I think that the high resolution, high def audio sounds better. I really do, but.
Well, I'm conducting an experiment on AVS right now, actually, where you can go and download 3 different tracks, and each of these tracks has 2 versions, an A and a B.
Yeah.
And one of them is native high-res, recorded at 2496, with additional information. We've proven that it has ultrasonic information and dynamic range beyond what a CD can encompass. And then
beyond what your ears can hear, I might add.
That's correct.
Theoretically.
And then directly.
Yeah.
And then we took that file, we down-resed it to 16-bit 44.1, which is what CDs are, and then up-resed it back to 24 without adding any information, so that the 2 file sizes were the same. You couldn't tell them apart just by looking at them on a computer. You can if you go into a spectrum analyzer, but I'm asking people, please don't do that. Just listen to them. And tell me, just write me back and say, which one of the 2 do you think is native high-res?
Yeah.
So
how's that going? Has it been going on?
It's been going on for a week or a week and a half now, and I have gotten some responses back, and there have been some people who, in fact, have identified them correctly. Now, a friend of mine, John Iverson, who's a writer for Stereophile, I was talking with him about A/B testing, which is essentially what this is. It's not ABX testing, but it's A/B testing. It's blind testing. He says that doesn't really test for whether there's a difference, because there's skill involved. When you're listening to music and you're a skilled listener, you know what to listen for. But if you're not, then you don't. And so what you're really testing for is the skill level of your audience. And I thought that was a very interesting thing as well. It was kind of like the question, he posed the parallel question of, take pole vaulting, and the question of, is it possible for humans to pole vault 20 feet? And if you take your average person off the street,
no.
No, the answer is no. But if you take an experienced
person can.
Yeah, some people can.
Yeah.
So I argued that, well, if some small subset of people can hear the difference reliably 100% of the time, which they have demonstrated they can, then there must be a difference. Now, some people can't hear it, and they won't identify the right one more than 50% of the time, random chance. So it's a fascinating question, which I'm exploring on AVS, and I invite everybody to go there. And I think it's still on the homepage. It might be kind of near the bottom by now, but it's called the AVS AIX High-Res Audio Test.
Check it out.
Check it out.
And no cheating.
That's right. Don't open the files on your computer in a
cheating.
Spectrum analyzer.
Yeah.
You know, because
I'm going to do it just to see if I can tell the difference. Because I'm not I'm not a trained observer.
Right, exactly.
In fact, I did. You know, there are a number of. You might be interested in this. So might your wife Joanne. There are a number of apps on the iPad, and I bet you they're also on Android, but I haven't looked for them, that test your hearing, just like an audiologist would.
Yes.
And I played with one, and you know, I think it's fairly accurate. You want to use decent headphones, and it'll ask you which headphones you're using and so forth. It's actually an iPhone tester, but it works on the iPad. It's called Mimi, M-I-M-I. So if you look for Mimi hearing test, and it told me I have the ears of a 60-year-old man. and that's based on, and in fact, what's kind of fun about it is it will, as it does the test, and it's just like if you've ever done an audiologist's test, you probably did it in school. You know, they play tones, and you raise your hand if you hear it in the left ear or the right ear. It's just like that.
Right.
And then it makes a graph of your left ear capabilities and your right ear capabilities. You can see where your ear is not good at certain frequencies, better at other frequencies, and then if your hearing's okay, they can play back samples that'll show what it feels like to be a 60-year-old man. And then
I see. Equalized with certain frequency ranges.
They give you this is what your elders are hearing, and this is why they think you're mumbling. And then and then for me, because my hearing is impaired, they said, well, this is what it would sound like if your hearing were enhanced. And wow, this sounds great.
In other words, what it would sound like if you're wearing hearing aids.
Right.
Essentially.
Exactly. If you were wearing good hearing aids. Now, I have a feeling that as time goes by, we're going to get better and better hearing aids because this technology is getting better and better. But
yes.
So I think it's called Mimi. It's free. It's the Mimi hearing test.
And, I have to check that out. Yeah.
So I know that I don't have great hearing. That the high frequencies are, as with most older people, are bad. And of course, because I've been in radio for years wearing headphones, and that's a vicious circle because you turn them up and then you get more deaf, so you turn them up louder and then you get more deaf and you turn it up loud. And so
I'll tell you,
people in my business have no hearing usually, like musicians.
Well, and like live studio engineers in particular, live performance engineers, they crank up the volume tremendously, and then they start losing, in particular, noise-induced hearing loss. It creates a notch in the 2 to 4 kilohertz range, and so they start EQing that up and up and up and up and up, and it gets worse and worse and worse as they do.
And that's the music you're listening to at home.
That's right.
No wonder it sounds so bad. There's another thing going on that I find interesting. Samsung phones, and I imagine others will do this in time, will actually create a sound. Will have you go through a mini hearing test on the Samsung phone, and then create a sound pattern for you that will actually
they'll EQ
their sound.
Wow!
And I suspect we're going to see more and more of that as well.
Sounds cool.
Scott Wilkinson, AVSforum.com, Home Theater Geek. Thanks for joining us. Leo Laporte,
you bet,
the tech guy. And of course, I got sidetracked by that. But is Scott
totally
low?
fine.
Is that what you were worried about? So I'm gonna let you you ride the rails for a little bit here.
Oh, okay.
Hobo Scott Wilkinson, and I'll be back.
I did want to mention. I don't know if you have seen the Golden Ears Challenge from Philips.
No.
That actually trains. That it's actually a training program to help you listen for certain things and hear the difference between MP3s, say, and uncompressed audio, and so on and so forth. I'll have to find that URL for you. Anyway, yeah. Any recommendations you have? About,
computer. Yeah.
Computer.
So Acer, Dell. You don't have to get a fancy computer. To do this. And if you're not going to, this is not going to be your computer for other purposes. Use a Mac, right?
I do. I'm a Mac guy, but this software runs on Windows. I could run it, on my Mac, I suppose, but I'd kind of rather have a separate, dedicated computer for it.
You know, I don't know what they mean. The problem is saying you need a dual core 2 gigahertz is completely meaningless because
All right.
there's such a variety of processors out now. But the least expensive Windows computers tend to use now Celerons, which are not the Celeron. You're not your grandpa's Celerons.
Not your grandpa's Celeron. I remember that. I remember that term.
But I'm seeing Dell Inspirons for under 500. Lots of different choices. I like Dell in general.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, an i3.
So all I want is something reliable, not something that's going to fall apart or break or need repair all the time.
Right. And you just need a USB port, right?
2 USB ports.
Yeah, almost all of them have that.
Yeah, I need that. One for the meter and one for the signal generator.
Yeah. I think Dell is a good choice. Acer is a good choice. Yeah, somebody's suggesting I agree with them. If you look at Newegg, you can even see reviews on Newegg. Newegg's a great place to buy.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
And you'll be able to search by price there.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So anyway, yeah. So Mick says tried Newegg. M5 found the Golden Ears challenge, which is if you're in the chat room, check that out. It's www.goldenears.philips.com/en/challenge.html. That's a long thing to remember. But if you just Google Philips Golden Ear Challenge, you'll find it. And, if you're interested in learning how to discriminate, how to be a discriminating listener, shall I say, then it's well worth checking out. It's really cool. So yeah, we've been talking in the chat room about a couple of things. One is I think it was now my buffer has gone beyond, but somebody just got a 78-inch Samsung curved screen LCD TV, and he's sitting about 10 feet away from it, and that's about right. I would say for that size and that distance, a little bit of a curve is probably not a bad idea if you're mostly just by yourself or with one person. I still believe that the curve is not that great for large groups, but that size does help. And he also asked about settings, best settings. And I recommend, of course, the Disney Wow disc or the Spears and Munsell HD benchmark disc setup. Both of them are setup discs. And then he came back and said, yeah, but what about the Star Wars discs? Don't they have a setup section on them as well? And the answer is yes. All THX certified Blu-rays and DVDs for that matter, although I would use a Blu-ray, have what's called THX Optimizer on it, which is essentially a setup disc. It lets you set the basic user picture controls of contrast, brightness, sharpness, color, and tint. And you can use a disc you already have, so it doesn't even cost you anything. The Disney Wow and the Spears and Munsell, I think they're like $25, so it's not a big investment. But it will help tremendously in the picture quality. It'll look really, really good. So I do recommend that you do that. The gray area is asking for suggesting the HP ProBook 4540S. And it's an i3 processor. Okay, so that's good. What would I say? Would I say that the Panasonic ZT60 Plasma?
I think I'm back.
I think we're back.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the number. 888-827-5536. If you go to our website, techguylabs.com, you'll find links to everything we talk about on the show, answers to the questions, and your chance to comment on my answers. So if you're listening and go, I don't think Leo's right, you can fix it. You can fix it by adding a comment. In fact, you don't even have to have a comment. You can go to our website, techguylabs.com, and read the comments and vote them up or down, and the better comments should rise, one would hope, to the top. Tech Whisperer in our chat room says, I'm going to Comic-Con. A lot of people going down to San Diego for the big comic convention. And he says, I want to get a digital camera for it. Is the Nikon D800 good? Oh, yes, indeed. Very good indeed. fact, I almost traded in all my cameras for the D800. I'm glad I didn't because better cameras have come along. In fact, what's interesting is the D800 sensor is made by Sony. Sony makes more than half of all the sensors in all the digital cameras, including Canon, Nikon, and others. And Sony now makes a camera with the same sensor, maybe even improved slightly. Their A7, and this is the A7S. So there are, nowadays DSLRs, boy, there are some great choices. If you're willing to spend a little money, they're a little more expensive than a point and shoot. 8888 Ask Leo. Jeff on the line from Lancaster, California. You're next. Hi, Jeff. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm well, Jeff. How you?
Good, good. Yeah, my problem is I picked up a Samsung Galaxy Desire a couple of years ago, and right now I'll plug it in the evening. I get home from work and unplug it and go to bed, and I use it for my alarm clock. But by the morning, the last few days, the battery's gone dead.
Even though it's plugged in?
No, it's not plugged in overnight.
Oh, okay.
I unplug it, because I know you're not supposed to leave them charging.
Okay, you can leave it plugged in all the time. That's not true. Lithium-ion does best, in fact, if you leave it plugged in all the time. The reason being every lithium-ion battery, and that's the battery in every phone, every laptop, every tablet, everything now made pretty much is one form or another lithium-ion. They all have one characteristic that's unique. They have a limited number of charge cycles, and a charge cycle is all the way up and all the way down. That's one full charge cycle, typically around 500. So you charge it all the way up and all the way down 500 times, and the battery's not going to take a charge anymore. I think that's probably what's happened to your Desire. It's about that old. You can figure it out if you charged it every night, all the way up and all the way, you use it all the way up every day and you charge it up all the way every night, that would be 500 days. It would be less than 2 years. So it's time for a new battery in that. You can bring it into the phone store and they can swap it out. But that's why it's best to leave lithium-ion plugged in all the time. We've talked a lot about this, and there is still some debate over the chemistry of lithium-ion batteries, but a lot of battery myths come from earlier versions, nickel-cadmium, nickel-metal hydride batteries. They had other failings like the memory, what was it called? I don't remember. They had a battery memory where they would remember how much you charged it before and wouldn't go beyond that. That was NiCads. We haven't had that problem in a long time. Nickel-metal hydride had other issues. None of those apply to lithium-ion. The rules, I'll make it simple. The rules on lithium-ion are just keep it plugged in because you don't want to go through any additional cycles. The more cycles, the worse. It's okay to keep it plugged in. All modern lithium-ion batteries, all well-made ones, all first-party ones by any of the manufacturers, have circuitry that protects them from overcharging and overheating. Those can be bad, and it can, in fact, even burst into flames if it overcharges. That's why they have the circuitry. So you don't have to worry about it overcharging. Just leave it plugged in. And there's nothing about draining it all the way or any of that. Some say, and it may be true, that it's not good to drain it completely. That's rare anyway. You'd really have to work hard to drain a battery completely. In most cases, again, there's circuitry to prevent that. Ideally, with lithium-ion, you charge it to 95%, not 100%. But again, the circuitry in these batteries is pretty good at protecting the battery. You don't have to worry about anything. If it's not holding a charge, it's worn out. That's all. It sounds like it's not holding a charge, Jeff. Coming up, but thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Coming up in a second, we've got Garrison in Santa Clarita. He's looking for a laptop or a tablet for school, and I have some recommendations there. Garrison, Santa Clarita, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello.
Hello. What can I do for you, Garrison?
I'm going to college this fall.
Congratulations.
I'm going to major in history with a minor in computers.
Awesome.
I had an idea. I already have a desktop that I like.
Are you going to bring it? Are you going to bring it to school with you?
Better than that, I'm going to school. I'm staying at home.
Okay, good. So you'll have your desktop with you. All right.
Yeah. So I was thinking that for a computer to take to school for notes and stuff, I could get maybe a tablet or something.
So there's a couple of things, and I would go to the bursar at the school or the school bookstore and ask, because they'll have a computer department. They'll have an IT department probably too. some professors don't like people tippity-tapping in the classroom. You know, imagine you have 100 kids in a classroom lecture, and they all have laptops, and they're all typing as you talk. That's annoying. Now, the nice thing about a tablet is you're tapping the screen itself, so there's no tippy-tappy. But it's also hard to do a lot of typing on a tablet.
Yeah. I've talked to the computer professor. It's a smaller college.
Good. Ask what he recommends, because if that's your minor, it's important you have something that you can use for the minor, right?
What I was thinking of, I have a Logitech Universal Keyboard.
Okay.
And I was thinking of taking that and the tablet.
Not a bad idea. You heard me recommend the Surface Pro 3, the new Microsoft Windows 8.1 tablet. That is nice because it has a keyboard that you can attach to it, and a kickstand. It'd actually be really perfect in school. And then and by the way, the type keyboard it has is a pretty quiet keyboard. But if the professor said, "Hey, I don't want you typing in here," you could always detach the keyboard and use the tablet. Most tablets, in fact, I like this idea. Most tablets have application software. I'm not sure what's available on Windows, but that lets you record the lecture and then take notes not transcribe it, but take notes as you go, and then ties those notes to that point in the audio. So when you're going back to review your notes, you can tap them and then hear what the professor was saying. There's even a pen that does this. You can actually record the lecture audio as you're writing, physically handwriting notes in the notebook, and then the pen will let you tap those notes and play back the audio of the lecture. Man, I wish I'd had that when I was a student. That sounds like a really good combination. So, Notability is a choice, an app that will do this. That's on the iPad. There are lots of pair notes. I'm sure there's something for Windows 8.1. Listen, and I'll see if I can find it for you. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. July 19th, 2014. "45 years ago, 45 years ago, Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon." How do you like that, huh? Speaking of space cadets. And, do you remember? You're my age. You remember?
Of course,
watching
absolutely.
Neil step foot on.
Oh yeah. He claims it was a comm glitch.
Right.
That when he said that's one small step for, he says a man, but I've listened to it very closely.
There's no Vox. It's not.
There's no a.
No.
It's one small. He misspoke. He said one small step for man, one giant leap for man.
A man. But who cares?
He meant a man.
Who
but it always
cares?
Confused me.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Exactly.
But you know what? I'm not surprised. He was a little bit nervous.
Oh yeah.
He's stepping foot on the moon. And he doesn't know he could sink into dust.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Could be quicksand.
Could have been quicksand. Let's see if we can jump ahead to the. Let's play the whole thing.
One small step for man.
Yeah. See that? There's no pause.
1 or 2 inches. I'm gonna step off the limb now.
I'll never forget this.
That's one small step for man. 1 giant leap for mankind.
Whew, chills still.
Yeah. Absolutely.
45 years ago.
Wow. Is that amazing?
Oh, no, it's the 20th. You're right. It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. You're right. It's July 20th.
And isn't NASA TV replaying the entire thing?
Oh.
They cleaned it all up and put it in high definition.
I'm watching that.
Yeah. I heard a radio interview with Lowry Digital was the company that did the cleanup of the tape. And can you imagine getting that tape and saying, "Okay, we want you to clean this up and make it high definition"?
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow. I don't know. Well, that's where hey, thanks to computer technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Lowry guy in the interview said, "Well, we didn't really try to enhance it very much. It was grainy and it had spots and stuff, weird things in it. We just removed that. We didn't really try to, enhance it in any major way." So I think that was probably the right approach. Anyway.
So I'm going to try to find NASA TV so I can watch that. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to everybody in the chat room, by the way, for their recommendations on laptops. Some people are saying, get Sony, but then some other people said, well, they got out of that business a year ago.
Don't get a Sony. Whatever you do, they don't make them.
They don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been saying HP, and that's in fact the computer that I have now.
I'm not a fan of HP laptops. I'll be honest with you, or of desktops. They junk them up, and I find them less than reliable. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. What about Lenovo?
Lenovo's very good, but I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a good Lenovo in your price.
Okay. I'm trying to stay as far under $1,000 as I can.
Yeah.
But if I can,
you shouldn't. There's no reason you should spend more than $700 or $600.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. That's if I can be at $500, great. But if I have to go to $600-700, I can do that.
Right.
I want something that's just going to be, reliable, and run this software without problem.
Yeah.
So, I thank everybody for their recommendations. Ka-ding, 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 ka-ding. Anyway, J-Spin was asking me about a 75-inch TV in the, I think, did he say $3,000 to $4,000 range? Something like that. And I had said originally that the Sony backlit TVs with full array local dimming would be a great way to go. But I just looked them up, and yeah, the only ones really that I would recommend in that regard are, believe it or not, the 4K, the Ultra HD, because they have such fabulous backlighting and they really look great. But the 78-inch is $9,000 and the 70-inch is $5,500. So that's outside your price range. What I might suggest is waiting for Vizio to come out with the M series at that size. I have a 60-inch that I just put in my theater 2 days ago, which I'm going to be reviewing. Now, it's a 60-inch, and I think they're going to come out with a 70 or a 75, and I think J-Spin wanted a 75. So let me just see if that's out yet. I'm not 100% sure it is. I don't think it is yet. If I go to Vizio and the M series, which is their midline series, it's really their best 1080p series. And if I look at the, let's see, at the moment they go up to a 60-inch on their website. So they don't have the 75 out yet. But from what I've seen of the 60-inch so far, it's looking pretty good. It really does look good. The only problem is that the frame interpolation, even at the low setting, just looks so plasticky, more so than some I've seen. So unfortunately, you turn that off and things start getting blurry, as LCDs do. So it's a catch-22 really for LCDs, which is why one reason I preferred plasma. But plasma, of course, is on its way out. There's just no two ways about it. Samsung just announced that they're getting out of plasma. Panasonic got out last year, and LG is soon to follow, I'm sure. They haven't made any announcement, but I can't imagine that they would be in. James VA3JPX says Acer is pretty good for the price. Okay. Lowtech says Vizio M series is supposed to have a 55-inch for around $850. Is that still coming out? Let me see. I closed up Vizio. Let me get back to Vizio. I think that's still coming out. Absolutely. Let me just quickly take a look here. Oh, that's interesting. They have a 60. The 60, which is a little bigger there, is $1,200 for a 60-inch TV that really looks good so far as I can tell.
All right, Scott, I think we're out of time. Thank you so much, sir.
My
Good
pleasure.
luck in your laptop quest.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers and the internet and home theater and smartphones and digital watches and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or New Jersey or Canada. And if you're not in any of those places, you can also Skype us. Just Skype out, and it should be free because you're calling a toll-free number. 888-827-5536. I mentioned digital watches, smart watches, because, of course, Android Wear and Samsung Gear and the Pebble watch, they're just becoming rapidly a big category. I just saw in Target a wearables section. That tells me that at least somebody thinks this is going to be the next big thing. I have to say, it's kind of funny because you may recall earlier in the show somebody asked me about buying a Surface Pro, and I looked up where the Microsoft store was in San Diego. Now my Android Wear watch is telling me how long the commute is to my nearest Microsoft store. It's maybe a little too helpful. I guess if I just had been searching at home for Microsoft stores, knowing that it's going to be 58 minutes and there's light traffic on US 101 South to my nearest Microsoft store would be useful. And to have that show up on the watch would be great. This is the new form of search, giving you information before you ask for it, guessing what you might want to know. And if you've got a smart watch, that makes a lot of sense because the watch should kind of, it's too hard to search for stuff on the watch. You can do it, but it's a little difficult. Wouldn't it be better if the watch just kind of knew what you were going to do and wanted to do, and somehow could predict that? And then, I mean, it tells me what my appointments are. Of course, it tells me what the weather is. It tells me I've taken 1,000 steps so far today. Not very many. But also how far it is to the Microsoft store, because that's the most recent thing I searched for. Some people might think that's a little creepy. Conehead in our chat room says the watch is the new Big Brother. But it's just a machine, remember? It's not a human. There's no human saying, oh, I see Leo wants to go to a Microsoft store. Let's put that in his watch. It's all mechanical. I don't feel like that's too intrusive. Some might. Doesn't bother me. Seems useful, in fact. If the watch, knew I was looking for pants to say where the newest. Anyway, 8888 Ask Leo, the tech guy. Mentioned I'm so excited I got the new Fire phone until I opened it up and there was no phone in it. Thank you, AT&T. But I can tell you what the Fire phone box is going to look like. I actually purchased one. I'll have it by the end of the week. We could talk about the new Amazon phone. But that's probably not the phone for you unless you're a major Amazon fan. And there's so many interesting, exciting phones coming out, including, we're pretty sure, in the next couple of months, a new iPhone. 8888 Ask Leo. Mike is on the line from Fountain, Colorado. Hey, Mike, Leo Laporte here. What can I do for you today?
Well, you were ranting on about bad customer service. I wanted to give you some good customer service.
I'd love to hear it. We should do that. At the same time as we challenge companies that give bad service, let's honor the ones that give us good service.
Well, since you just did a live read for one of the services, I thought it'd be appropriate.
Which service is that?
Carbonite.
Oh, yeah, they're great. Now, so tell me what's happened with, they did an interesting thing because they were using offshore, I think it was in India, customer support, and people were very unhappy with it. So they moved it back, and all their customer service is in the U.S. now. I think it's in Maine.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, when I did the 2-week free trial, went to purchase it. The credit card I had gotten from my bank, debit card, would not run because I got the wrong one. I got one that was for travel. And so it they couldn't access that for the account. It took me a month to get back to my bank to get another debit card. And I had been told, they always say, well, we'll hold on to your data for 2 weeks, and then we're going to scrub it. I get pop-ups on the computer saying, renew soon. Well, they kept all my data, and I finally got Carbonite, and I didn't have to go through the long upload.
It was all there.
It was all there.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, and that was after a month and a half.
They are, obviously, they're a sponsor, but I consider the CEO and founder of Carbonite, David Friend, a buddy. We talk a lot, and he's just a great guy. And I know that he is really unlike so many companies, he's deeply committed to the customer experience and keeping customers happy.
Well, he did a damn fine job with me.
Yeah, and nobody's perfect. Every once in a while I'll get an email from somebody who says, Carbon, I did something, and I will always forward it to David. And in every case, he takes care of that person. I just feel like nobody's perfect. You're going to have, like Comcast did, you're going to have a rep who doesn't represent the company well. The measure of the company is how quickly they make it good, how they take care of people, and how hard they're trying to do a good job. Whether they really care. I don't feel like some companies care.
Indeed.
And that's the sad thing. So that's good. Thank you for sharing your experience. I appreciate it.
The other one is Steve Gibson's Spin Right.
Oh, now, we know Steve cares.
I was going to move over to an SSD from my spinning drive. And so I ran a malicious software removal tool.
Good.
From Windows
That's
on
the
it.
Microsoft program. Everybody gets that, yeah.
Right. Took 36 hours to go through everything. But once it did send out, I had one threat, and by the end of its run, it said there's nothing on here to worry about.
Good.
So that was a positive thing, and that meant I'd been a good computer tenant.
You practice safe computing. I'm glad to hear it. That's
right.
Good. Yep.
And so then I ran a Cronus and got it over. Then I ran the Spin Right. After I did that, it found some bad sectors, shifted the data, blah, blah, and then ran a Cronus over to the SSD from that hard drive. So I have that hard drive as a backup. I've got Carbonite as a backup. And I have my SSD running.
Now you are my favorite fella. You know how to stay safe.
Well, I try.
The more copies, the better. And what do I always tell you? If you have a backup and you erase the original, it's not a backup anymore. A backup means 2 or more copies of the same file. I don't care what the drive name is.
And one more positive customer service.
Okay.
We have CenturyLink here. I use DSL.
That's your internet service provider, okay?
That is correct. We have a problem with a cable in the ground that's failing.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. Been out about 8 times over the past 6 months to fix it. I'm finally getting the same guy every morning comes out when I have a problem with my phone line going dead. What's nice is because it's DSL, it's running dry loop, which means I can still contact CenturyLink via internet.
Oh, that's good.
So, I set up the call, and they say, okay, we'll have a guy out tomorrow morning, and he's always here at like 7:45 in the morning.
Well, you've cheered me up, but you've let me know that there are, in fact, some companies that care about their customers. I would bet most companies do, and of course the smaller companies do because they're more intimately connected with their customers. Companies that are in competitive environments do because they have to. It's really the giant monopolies that seem to care the least. Remember the old Lily Tomlin routine for laughing? We're the phone company. We don't care. We don't have to. It's like that. In fact, the phone company still doesn't care. And the big cable companies are getting more like that. Thank you, Mike. Great to hear from you. Jeff Valencia, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. My question for you is, my computer, I've got an old laptop. It's probably about 8 years old, maybe a little longer, and it's on its last legs. And now with so many choices, I don't know what to get. So I was wondering if you had any suggestions for me.
All right. We're going to take Jeff laptop shopping when we come back right after the break. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Cool, clear water. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Tomorrow marks the 45th anniversary of humankind's first setting foot on the moon. Neil Armstrong, one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. It was 45 years ago tomorrow. And NASA's doing something interesting. Starting at 10:30 p.m. Sunday, tomorrow, they're going to replay the moon landing. I guess it will be the moon walk, because the landing was a few days earlier. And apparently they've spent some energy in it's going to be in HD, and fixing up the video. Because I don't know if you're of a certain age, as I am, you remember getting up. I was a kid. It was in black and white and very grainy. You could kind of see a guy stepping down, and you could hear the audio. I'm very interested in seeing this on NASA TV tomorrow night. I guess it's the moonwalk. 45 years ago, July 20th, 1969. Amazing. All right, Jeff called from Valencia. He says he wants to spend money. I'm good at spending his money. Let's get started, Jeff. What's your budget?
Well, I can tell you're not as good at spending my money as my wife.
Just try me, Jeff. Just try me. So you want to buy, first of all, you said your old laptop's 8 years old.
Yes.
It is time probably to get a new one. I estimate, they say dog years, there's 7 human years for every dog year. I think there's 15 human years for every laptop year. That means your laptop is 120 years old.
Something like that.
It's time to get a new one.
Yes.
So let's see here. Tell me a little bit about your needs, your budget, that kind of thing.
Well, the budget's not so critical, but I don't see I need to spend $1,000 on something that's so elaborate that's well beyond the realm of what I actually need it for, other than just basic computer, a few programs, internet, stuff like that.
Do you have specialized programs of any kind, or is it just the typical stuff?
More typical stuff. However, I'm going to want to start doing some high-end printing with it, with some slide paper decals. So I need something that I can get some good color resolution and good separation and lines and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's more with a printer more than it is with a computer.
Well, it's always important to think about anything unusual or out of the ordinary you're going to do, because that may determine some of the factors involved in this purchase. Remember, we had the realtor call a few minutes ago, and of course, because most realty software is on Windows, that means he's got to get a Windows machine. There are constraints in that regard. This printer software, I'm guessing the software you use to run that printer, is it Windows only?
No, I haven't even researched that yet.
Okay, so at some point you're going to want to look into that before you buy the hardware.
Exactly, and I know there's Windows 7 and Windows 8, and I have people telling me Windows 7, you want that. Windows 8,
no, people hate Windows 8, and I'm with them, but it's the current version, and you're going to get it. It's just I wouldn't get Windows 7 at this point. You're buying something that's been discontinued already for almost 2 years now.
But it would be better than my Windows Vista.
Anything will be better than Vista. Windows 8.1 is not bad. I know that's not glowing. But it's not bad, and I think you can get used to it. In fact,
recommendations for Apple computers.
Well, that's the first thing I ask. I only recommend Windows if you need to get Windows. If you're using software that only runs on Windows, but for a home user, a Macintosh is a lot simpler, less prone to infection and all of that. If everything you need, if your needs are simple, if you're just browsing, email, and so forth, you don't have to get Windows. If the software for this printer, frankly, probably is more likely on Mac than it is on Windows, because a lot of the high-end graphic stuff is Mac.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would look at a Mac. Now, a MacBook Air is going to start at $1,000, and the one you want is probably $1,200. I gotta clarify something, though. I got the impression that you think, and I think everybody thinks this, when you spend more, it's because your computer is more fancy. Not necessarily the case. There are cheap components and there are good components. And almost every computer manufacturer makes a consumer-grade laptop and a professional-grade laptop. They have exactly the same functionality and features. Maybe the professional grade's somewhat faster, but truthfully, all laptops now are so fast, especially faster than your old one, that's not really the deal. It's that it's made from better components. It has a better screen. It's a higher resolution screen. The trackpad is better. The keyboard is better. That's what you're spending the money for. Not more capability, but better components. And I'm of the opinion, if you can afford it, it's a good idea to do that. And Apple does not sell a consumer-grade computer. They only sell professional grades. That's why they are more expensive. They also offer better support. I only buy Mac computers pretty much. I have Windows PCs, but I pretty much stick with Mac computers. And unless you see a compelling reason to get a Windows computer, I'd say get a Mac.
And any recommendations where to get an Apple computer other than an Apple store?
Well, Apple Store is always the best, and there is one near you. But if you,
I just don't like waiting in line just to go in and look with all those Apple Bar, Genius Bar, or whatever.
Apple stores are pretty crowded, aren't they? I don't. And by the way, they put new ones in all the time. You can always buy it online. I think given that you're going to do high-resolution printing work, you probably want to get the MacBook Pro. That's going to be even a little bit more expensive because it has a Retina display. It's a very high-resolution display. Nowadays, even with Windows, I would look for a high-def display, something with at least 1,080 lines of resolution.
And what about a printer, though, to match that?
Printer's another matter entirely. And that gets actually more complicated depending on what you want to print, how much you're going to print, how important it is, the cost per page. You know, inkjets are very expensive per page, but for a small amount of printing or photo printing, that's a better choice. If you're doing a lot of printing, you want to get the price per page down, then you should get a laser printer. But
I can get a laser printer for, you know, relatively very inexpensive.
Yeah, but they don't do photos. They don't do photos very well. So that's the issue. Yeah.
And I'm more concerned about photo quality and you know, the decal quality that I want to use it for.
I'm a big fan for photo printing and general inkjet printing. I'm a big fan of our sponsor, so you have to take this with a grain of salt, of the Epsons. That's what I buy at home. And I really like the Epsons. The Epson it used to be the Artisan. I don't know if they still call it that, but the Epson Artisan is a Wi-Fi printer that does a beautiful job of both photos and printing. Epson does a pretty good job of keeping it from being too expensive per page. Unlike some printer companies, they don't charge you through the nose for the ink. I like the Epson Artisans a lot.
Well, that sounds good, and I really appreciate your advice.
Well, I hope you enjoy, and let me know when you start doing that fancy printing. Maybe we can help you with that.
Well, maybe I'll just print you a sample.
I'd love it. Hey, great to talk to you. By the way, Canon Pixmas are very nice, too. I've been very happy with the Canon printers in the past. You should try to get a printer that has Wi-Fi, only because that means you don't have to hook it up to the computer, but you can have it on the network. Makes it a lot easier printing if you have more than one computer. Then all the computers can use the printer, which is great. So Canon and Epson are my two favorites. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls coming up. Johnny Jet too. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He is Johnny Jet, built to travel. And oddly enough, about one time in 10 when we do the Johnny Jet show, he's at home. He's at home. He's in Los Angeles today.
It's nice to be back.
I think, you know, for most of us, getting home, getting in our own bed and everything is one of the best parts of travel. Like,
well, my bed's not that comfortable, so
see, I think, and you don't spend enough.
Key.
Yeah, you don't spend enough.
That's my trick. That's my trick. I have an uncomfortable bed, so I don't want to stay at home.
You spend so little time at home, it isn't really home for you. I wonder about people like you, like rock stars and others who just home. You know, Johnny Winter, the great Johnny Winter, blues guitarist, passed away just a few days ago at the age of 70. He was in a Swiss hotel room, and I thought, you know, I bet he spent most of his life in hotel rooms. That's home for him. Do you feel that way?
You know, actually, I do. And when I'm traveling a lot, and I'll be with my wife, and I'll say, hey, let's go home. And I'm talking about, let's go back to the hotel.
Right. That's home.
I never really thought about that, but, you know.
Well, anyway.
It's nice to come back into L.A. I'm only here. I leave tomorrow, but I'll be back again next week.
Usually when you go somewhere, you like to keep it a secret. Are you revealing your
tomorrow
destination?
I'm speaking at a conference in Vegas.
All right. That's a short trip. That's easy.
Flying Virgin America tomorrow.
Best airline in the world to fly. Well, best airline in the U.S. to fly.
In a country.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, you're not in the world probably, but in the country, boy, when I go to Vegas, if I can go. You know why? When you get off the plane, there's a disco ball. And the plane itself is kind of a disco. Purple lighting and all. I love it. I love Virgin America.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And actually, a couple weeks ago, Virgin America had cheaper first class seats were cheaper than their main cabin select. And
What?
sometimes they still are. I still look. So instead of getting premium economy, look at the first class. That's one mistake some people make. And this
Don't
is just with
assume.
all airlines as well. You know, if you especially if you're buying last minute, look at the first class price because you might be able to get.
If they haven't sold that seat, it's going to go empty. You might as well. They want to clear it out.
It could be the same price or even cheaper. I've seen it cheaper. So
wow.
Okay, so I think we need to talk about this Malaysia flight, which is just heartbreaking.
It's just horrific.
Big time. I've actually flown Malaysia Airlines from Stockholm to Kuala Lumpur, and I've done that. You know, we've flown over the Ukraine. But so a lot of people have been asking me, so why don't these airlines, you know, come equipped with anti-missile technology?
No, of course not.
Well, Air Force One has, and all these other big planes.
But
do.
that's
I know.
It's
but
in the Air Force.
Well, the real reason why we don't have it is because of the cost, which is
You're not going to put anti-air.
About $5 million per plane.
Yeah.
But the planes cost over $150 million. Between 100 and 150.
Even cruise ships, you know, they're not allowed to have you know, big anti-aircraft weapons on the cruise ship. They have sonic impellers on some of them to keep pirates away. You're not going to.
But they could come up with those like you know what they call them, the large aircraft infrared countermeasures, which will jam the guided missiles.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's another thing that passengers have to worry about. Like we don't have.
Come on, when's the last time a commercial aircraft was hit by a surface-to-air missile?
It's been a while.
A long while.
It's happened. I mean, it's happened. But anyway, the good news is actually I just tweeted out the current airspace over the Ukraine. So now you can see, and this is going to happen all over the world, not just over the Ukraine, but wherever there's going to be hostile, you know, enemies, whatever, or even have a chance to have these missiles. They're going to go around that airspace. Because these things can go up to I read.
Let's not fly over war zones. That would be a start.
Well, the good news is the FAA actually they don't allow the U.S. airlines to fly that route, but the Eurocontrol was allowing it. So
no, they directed them over there. Yeah,
it wasn't Malaysia Airlines' fault. I mean, that was their route plan. That was their plan.
Yeah,
from the Eurocontrol. So anyway,
very tragic, very sad.
I created a resource page that has all kinds of stuff, including that link to the current airspace, so you can see it. I'm doing a similar route like that next month, so of course my, you know, I'm going to be thinking about it. It's a real tragedy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what there is to say except just our deepest condolences to the people whose lives were lost, and some really, I mean, it's just so tragic when you read these stories of these people.
For sure,
sad.
All right, so let's try and talk about something better.
Yes.
So JetBlue came out this week, and they're debuting automatic check-in for passengers. So 24 hours before you arrive, you're scheduled to, you know, fly, you're going to get an email with either the printed boarding pass that you can, a boarding pass that you can print, or a link to the mobile boarding pass. So these are the first U.S. airline that I know that does this, which is kind of cool. And also,
it does beg the question: what does checking in even mean today? I mean, what do you? You still have to go to the counter with your bag. What does it even mean?
Well, I don't check bags, so I don't have to go to the counter.
Okay, so now you have a pass. You go right to security.
Right. I mean, I check in always online.
Yeah.
That way, I mean.
Why? I mean, why check in? Why don't they? Why doesn't everybody just send you your ticket? Here's your ticket. You don't have to check in for a concert.
I think this will be the new trend.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I like to check in because I like to see last minute who canceled their flights and if any better seats opened up.
Yeah, I always do my seating towards rethink my seating during the check-in. Absolutely.
Oh, I also, you know, I start doing it 72 hours in advance because the elite freaking flyers, they'll get upgraded, so their really good seats get open. So that's when I see that little dance. That's when you want to grab their exit row.
But you can only check in 24 hours ahead of time, but you could check your seat assignments 3 days ahead of time. Yeah.
No, you can change your seat anytime. I mean, depending on the airline. Some of them are going to charge you.
That sounds good.
So, and another little trick, by the way, when you're like, my wife just now, she's checking in for her flight tomorrow on Air Canada, and she's like, they want me $31 for a standard seat. I said, well,
What?
it's not 24. I said, it's not 24 hours before departure. But wait exactly 24 hours before departure, then log on, check in, and then you'll get a free seat assignment. And so that is a way you can save some money.
They get me every time because when I do that check-in, they say, hey, for another $40, you could have lots of leg room. And I always get the preferred seating. They always get me because I already paid for the ticket, so it's kind of painless, right? Oh, it's only $40.
Yeah. Some more news this week. KLM, which is based in Holland, they announced that they're going to offer customer service through LinkedIn. They already do it on Twitter and Facebook. So, if you have a problem, you can contact them through LinkedIn, which I've never done. And I don't think of LinkedIn as that way. I've done it via Twitter, and I've flown KLM. And when you get off the plane, they say, if you have a comment or a problem, you can Facebook us or tweet us, and we'll respond within an hour, 24/7. They have 130 agents working their social media, which is amazing. They have over 10 million fans and followers on their social media, and they get 35,000 mentions a week.
Does it leave people who are not Twitter savvy or Facebook or LinkedIn savvy out in the cold? Do you think people now, to get good customer service, you have to be on a social network?
I think it helps. It all depends on the airline.
It's also a reason to get as many followers as you can, because you got to think they pay attention to how much clout you have when you tweet them. Let's see how many followers Johnny Jet had. Oh, we better take good care of him.
I mean, I think that might help, but you know what? I'm going to start an account with no followers, and I'm going to find out.
Would you do a little A/B comparison?
Yeah, of course.
Johnny Jet. You go to his website, you're going to get lots of information about travel, lots of inspiration, too. And don't forget to subscribe to his free newsletter, JohnnyJet.com. He's at Johnny Jet on Twitter and Instagram. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So cool. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you for having me on.
Always a pleasure. You're the bestest.
I didn't get to plug the there's a Hong Kong Seattle round trip for $641 that just came into my email.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to now do another deals newsletter, but
you work nonstop. Do you get up in the middle of the night and write a newsletter just cause?
If I can't sleep, if I'm jet lagged, I don't
write a letter.
I don't sit there and stare at the wall or ceiling like I used to.
Always working. What's your T-shirt say?
Oh, I just
Canada.
My wife's here, and I just wore it. And I was walking down the beach, and some little kid comes up to me. He's like, "USA hockey's way better than Canada."
I agree, kid.
I agree too, but
Go Ducks.
although Canada won the gold.
Yeah, who won the cup? Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir.
Take care. Have a good week.
Take care, John. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. The great Johnny Jet, ladies and gentlemen. What's this YouTube video of the first moonwalk in 1955? There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. You got me. That was Bill Bailey at the Apollo Theater in 1955. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Devon is on the line. He's on the 60. Hi, Devon. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
How you doing, Leo?
I'm well. What's up?
Hey, I got a friend of mine that takes a lot of pictures. Goes to conventions, weddings. Anyway, takes a lot of pictures. So he's got the iPad hooked up with his camera, but what he wants to do is share his photos, okay? And I was hoping you could help me help him get a nice solution for sharing his photos. I kind of looked at it a little bit, and I think in some respect, and I don't know which one it is, whether it's Picasa or Flickr, I think you have to be a member of that particular, let's say, web group in order to share nicely.
Yes, that's true. You have to create a free account. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So I was basically hoping to get your wisdom on how to do that.
Well, he's already using an iPad, so he can use Apple's own photo sharing capability. There are lots of places to share, but almost everywhere will require you create an account because, if you think about it, how else are they going to attach your photos to you? Right?
Okay.
I mean, you can use, there are systems like Photo Bucket and stuff where you, I guess even them, you're going to have to create an account. The point is you've already got an iCloud account. So just use the Photos app and share it that way.
Okay.
He's got the Photos app on his iPad. He wants to, he has pictures of the kids he wants to share with grandma, let's say. Flickr's a very good starting point. It's free. You do have to create an account, but that just merely means, create a login. It doesn't, you're not giving them any money. You get 1 terabyte of storage, which is an awful lot. Facebook, you mentioned Picasa, that's Google. And, many people already have a Google account because they created Gmail. All of these places, you have to create an account only so they can, they know who the photos belong to. But it doesn't cost him anything. He doesn't want to create an account.
He would, and I believe he does have a Gmail account.
Oh, well then he's golden. Yeah. Is he worried about the people on the other side having to create an account?
Yeah, I think that's the object of the game.
Yeah.
Just to get photos out, because I mean, he's a what is it? I think he's a union member, so he's probably got a lot of people on his contact list.
So he wants to send out hey, I got great pictures from our party last night. Here's a link. You shouldn't have to, I agree, you shouldn't have to create an account to see the pictures. Dropbox lets you create public photo albums that they don't have to create an account. I use SmugMug. This is more for professional photographers, but you don't have to create an account. I can send you a link to a SmugMug page. I can password protect it or make it public. You don't have to have an account to look at it. I bet you Picasa has a way to share photo albums without having the other end to create accounts. Since he already has a Google account.
Yeah.
Let me ask the chat room. If I share with you photos, I guess, do you need to have a Gmail or a Google account? I would just, use the iCloud photo streams. That's kind of a different way of doing it, but you can share photos as you add them to a folder. They automatically get added to the photo stream.
Okay.
I think he should check in with Photos, which is the app on the iPad that he has, and look into the sharing on that, because I think that's all of that is pretty easy. They're saying Microsoft's OneDrive, which is available for free on the iPad as well, does not require you create an account to view pictures, so he could use OneDrive. OneDrive's cool on the iPad and the iPhone because it will automatically upload your photos to OneDrive as you take them. Let me just check on the Picasa thing. The PDO in the chat room is giving me a link here to see. If you send a link to a photo album, does the other person... No, only if you set it up that way. You do not have to require a sign-in. So you can link an album in Picasa and say, just send out the link and anybody can see those photos without signing in. So this is probably, maybe what's overwhelming is there's so many ways to do it. This is one where there's a million ways to do it. If your key is not requiring the other union members to have an account to look at it, I think all of those solutions will work. If you want to share it and not have it be public, that might require a login. But I think he can do this, no problem, with Picasa or the Photos app on his iPad. Justin in Los Angeles is coming up in just a second. He wants some beginner editing and special effects software for his videos. Hi, Justin.
Hey, Leo.
So are you talking video editing software?
Yeah, two things. Actually, visual effects software that's friendly for beginners and editing software. I've been an actor in LA for a while, and I'm now directing, and my second film is a sci-fi. And we have an Indiegogo page, but the videos on there, I kind of want to jazz up a little with some visual effects.
Yes.
But I'm a beginner when it comes to. I'm pretty computer savvy, but
do you have a Mac? Are you using a Mac for your editing?
Yeah, I got an iMac. I've got Final Cut Pro X, but I thought there might be a more professional version that works with this VFX software.
Well, Final Cut is pretty professional, although I admit when they went from Studio to 10 or X or whatever they call it, they took out a lot of the features that pros use. We didn't make the upgrade because we needed some of those features. But right. Final Cut's Motion that comes with that, I don't know how much it is. I think it was $200. I think it's even less now. That Apple offers is a very good choice for. It depends on the kind of effects you're looking for. When you say, because effects can mean a lot of things.
Right.
Effects can be everything from an alien creature coming down from space to beautiful title graphics. What do you mean by effects?
Well, I have an awesome VFX guy for that stuff. I'm really looking for like titles and green screen integration.
Okay.
You know, that sort of level, just so that I can jazz up our videos a little bit on our campaign page.
Yeah, I don't blame you. First of all, let's see what the campaign page is. It's Indiegogo.
Yeah. I think we're like the third or fourth trending film. The direct link is outpostthefilm.com.
How exciting! Are you like a lot of actors? Is it because you want to become a director and a producer, or because you want to create your own projects so you get to do what you want?
It's all of the above.
Yeah.
I've had a pretty decent career as an actor, and but it takes 10 people to say yes.
I know.
To work as an actor.
Oh, of course.
And as a writer-director, particularly with like Indiegogo and stuff, you can go straight to your audience, and they will tell you yes if they want to see your stuff.
Yep.
And so my creative partner and I, that's such an awesome, that's such a gift to be able to do that. So.
Well, and this is what the internet has brought us all. All the artistic, creative types can now go directly to their audience, whether it's a writer, a actor, a director. And the opportunity is just amazing. Well, good luck on the Indiegogo. It's Outpost, an epic science fiction adventure. You've got 11 days left to about halfway there. And I'll talk about some editing effects software when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you. This is exciting. When the last citizen in space makes first contact, he's forced to not only protect humanity, but that which makes him human, love. This is neat. You could be a producer. Hey, I want to be a producer. This is neat. Indiegogo is great. I just put $500 on an Indiegogo project for a home robot. That's money I'll never see again.
Get a robot phone ranger.
This is great. I love this idea. This is really neat. This is really great. That was Justin Giddings. He's got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting. He was in Bite Me, Pretty Little Liars, won a Streamy Award for Black Box TV. That's neat. That's really great. Here's their first film, This Is Normal. I think this is in many ways the future of creative, is just go to the audience, Yeah, I got a Jibo. That's what I got. Well, I won't get it. I mean, I think this is money down the tubes, but I couldn't. I had to get it because if it does come out, I have to have one.
This is your car. This is your toothbrush. These are your things. But these are the things that matter.
Right.
And somewhere in between.
That's what I say.
Introducing Jibo.
Can you believe I
the
ordered
world's
this?
First family robot. Say hi, Jibo.
Hi, Jibo.
Jibo helps everyone out throughout their day. He's the world's best cameraman. By intelligently tracking the action around him, he can independently take video and photos so that you can put down your camera.
There's no way in the world they're ever going to ship this.
Take the picture.
He's a hands-free helper. You can talk to him, and he'll talk to you back, so you don't have to skip a beat.
Excuse me, Anne?
Yes, Jibo.
Melissa just sent a reminder that she's picking you up in half an hour to go grocery shopping.
Thanks, Jibo.
He's an entertainer.
Thanks, Jibo.
Through interactive applications, Jibo can teach.
Let me in, or else I'll... And I'll... And I'll blow your house in.
Never have to interact with your children again. Jibo do the hard work.
He's the closest thing to a real-life teleportation device. He can turn and look at whoever you want.
Can't do anything. This is imaginary.
Check out my turkey dinner, Mom.
I wish you wouldn't eat that.
Hey, they make turkey pizza? I want turkey pizza.
And he's a platform, so his skills keep expanding. He'll be able to
Jibo's
connect
a
your
platform?
Welcome home, Eric.
Hey, buddy. Can you order some takeout for me?
Sure thing. Chinese, as usual?
You know me so well.
And even be a great wingman.
You have a voice message from Ashley. Want to hear it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you bet, Jibo. I know this. I mean, I've met this woman, so she's somewhat credible. But so this, I got the. So I guess I got the Jibo Alive. I got the home edition. I didn't get the developer edition. The one where you just give them $100 and you hope you get one is gone. So I had to give them $500. They're close. They've raised $755,000 of their $100,000 goal. Well, hey. How are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, Hour 3 of the Tech Guy radio program in which we solve people's technology issues. We help them with their technology needs. We show you how to choose it, how to use it, how to abuse it, and when you're done, how to lose it. We do it all. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. You can always use Skype to call if you're outside those countries. Skype ad will be free. We have a great website where all the information from the show goes. It's stored. A repository called techguylabs.com. Techguylabs.com. And there you'll find audio and video from previous shows. We put it takes us a few days, but we get the audio and video up after the fact. You could subscribe to the podcast there. We also have text of the questions and answers. And your comments are always appreciated there, and it's always free. No subscription needed. techguylabs.com. So we were talking to Justin. Neat idea. He's an actor, longtime actor, wants to do his own movie. They're raising money on Indiegogo. I applaud that. And he's looking for some tools to make it easier to make the movie. He's using Final Cut Express for editing, the newer version of Final Cut. Apple took a lot of features out, and they've been slowly putting some back. But it does have green screen capabilities. If you want to add a better green screen program, there's a website, dvgarage.com. That's where my friend Alex Lindsay puts some of the software he does, including DV Matte Pro, which is probably the most powerful green screen editor that works with Final Cut Express, Motion, or Final Cut Pro. And it's only $200. That's an amazing. If you're doing a lot of green screen, that's a great, great choice. Actually, they don't make Final Cut Express anymore, do they? Don't know if it works with Final Cut 10. I'm sure it does. And I think you can download before you buy. $200, good price. We're moving over from Final Cut because Apple seems to have kind of, I don't know, abandoned such a strong word. Deprecated the professional user. We do a lot of editing in my podcast network. We put out about 30 shows a week, so those all have to be video edited. We've been using Final Cut Studio for years on old Mac Pros. Instead of buying the new Mac Pros to upgrade our machines, we decided to go out and buy some Dell Windows machines and subscribe to Adobe, the Adobe Creative Suite, including Premiere, which is their video editor, and their excellent visual effects program, After Effects, used by a lot of pros. So we've moved to that platform. And I think, but the nice thing about the Adobe Suite is it does work on Apple as well. But we've decided it's probably better at this point to go with Windows machines. Even iMovie does green screen. Not great, but often well enough. Sebastian, Riverside, California, you're next. Hi, Sebastian. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Thank you for taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling. What can I do for you?
I'm in the process of putting together a new home theater stereo system.
Nice.
And I have sourced all of my gear, vintage and used. And so far, I have an Ansem AVM30 as my processor. And I'm using all Great American Sound Ampzilla power amplifiers for my power side.
Great.
My question to you is, I'm trying to decide what kind of RCA cables and speaker cables to get, and the price variations is huge. So what are your thoughts on speaker cables for audiophile use, and what would you recommend for a vintage system of this type?
Yeah, well, obviously you're spending a lot of money on the hardware, so you want to get excellent cables. I am not an audiophile. I am not the guy to ask, but you know there are a lot of great online audiophile resources where you'll get a lot of debates over cables. I will say this, and I think it's important for our audience to hear this, which is analog cables are not the same as digital cables. In digital cables, things like your HDMI cable, get the cheapest cable you can. It doesn't matter. But when it comes to analog, it does matter. It can make a big difference. You want to get cables that are, shielded well, that are made well. They have cables that are oxygen-free. They have all sorts of crazy things, and I am just not up on the latest audiophile technologies. So most of the stuff that we deal with nowadays on more modern, not such vintage, but more modern home theater setups are digital. And in those cases, really going to monoprice and getting the cables fine. But I do think that on analog, if you're going to spend money on things like Great American Sound amps and so forth, you're an audiophile, and you want the best cable that you can get, I believe. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm not an audiophile. I'm not an expert on this. Next time Scott's on, maybe I'll ask. He just did, I might recommend, he did an excellent Home Theater Geeks with audio on audiophiles in general. And I think for home theater, most people, the home theater is still the stereo, right? It's where you listen to your music as well as watch your movies. Obviously, you're putting a lot of effort into this. So you might want to check twit.tv/HTG. He just did a show with Michael Fremer, who is an absolute vinyl fan, audiophile. And I don't know if they talked about cabling. They might have, but that'd certainly be a good place to start. I'm not an expert. The chat room is giving us some solutions, which we'll kind of put in the show notes, like blue jeans cables and so forth. But I can't say I'm up on this. Heavy gauge, good shielding, all of those things seem to be important to me. But what's great, I don't know. It's different with digital. Digital doesn't matter because it either works or it doesn't. You can have some odd digital artifacts if you're going to be doing longer than usual cabling. But most people are never, there's no reason to worry in digital. It's the analog cables that makes a difference. And PDO999 in our chat room saying, Scott's AVS Forum's a good place too. Absolutely. AVS Forum's a great place to go for more information. Yeah, I just use lamp cord from Home Depot. That's right. I don't know good from bad. Adam, Riverside, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Adam.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Cool. Real quick, before we get started, Yogi Chamomile tea will give you awesome dreams.
I like Yogi Chamomile tea. You think there's something besides chamomile in there?
I don't know, but every time I take that stuff, it's like, man, the dreams are vivid.
Those yogi teas are good. But maybe they're a little more than just a little chamomile in there. I've always thought chamomile was a little bit psychoactive. It certainly soothes the nerves.
Yeah.
You never know.
So my question is, so most chargers have to be up to a little bit of amperage for the iPad and then tablets over 2 amps, I believe.
Yeah, the iPad requires 10 watts of charging. So since all USB chargers are 5 volts, the only thing that matters is the amperage, and you nailed it. It's got to be 2 amps. I think the newer Apple chargers are 5.2 by 2.2, something like that.
Yeah, so now I'm assuming since Apple makes them and they don't specify they're for iPads, it's not going to harm a phone.
No, you can overdo it. You can always. The phone will only take as much juice as it needs. So I always, in fact, it's funny. My daughter came to me looking for a new charger. She said, "This phone's taking a long time to charge." I said, "You probably don't have a high wattage charger, and it's trickling in the juice into the phone. That's not going to charge it very quickly." So you always, as far as I know, nobody's told me I'm wrong, and I believe this is the case. I certainly do it myself. Get the most wattage you can out of your charger, and then the phone will be able to get as much as it needs.
Okay, yeah, because usually when I use the iPad one, I call it the supercharger because it charges my phone way faster.
Everything's fast. You notice it is. It's just like water. More juice is flowing through the pipe. It's got a fatter pipe. It's going to fill faster. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Now, Qualcomm has this quick charge capability. And I'm curious about this. I know my M8 supports it. But I don't know what they're doing. What is it? Is it... yeah, it's just a more amperage, right? Yeah, that's what it sounds like. All right, well, it's doing a few things. This is the big one. It's shortening taper charging phase. So, like my M8 has a quick charge 2. Ironically, the charger they ship with it is quick charge 1, oddly enough. So I like to keep I have a box of chargers, and I periodically go through them and throw out anything that's like less than 1 amp. This is 17 watts, but that's divided by 2, see? So that's deceptive, isn't it? Or is it both? Ooh, this looks good. I recently broke my dual charger. This looks good. Yeah, see, it's 17 watts shared. So they're not both 17 watts, which is what you kind of would like, but maybe you can't do that with a because I don't want to accidentally use the 1 amp because I want to charge fast. Fast. Let's see this one, the Initech. Sounds a little bit like the company in Office Space. The Initech 4.30 watt. This looks good. This is what I need. I need one for travel. So I broke the one that I had for travel. It would damage the battery, but circuitry keeps this from that. It looks awesome. That looks pretty awesome. So it's got 2 5 times 2 4 and 2 5 times 1. That's good. Yeah, I think I'll buy that. I should get a few of those. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Jim on the line from Corona, California. You're next. Hi, Jim. Leo Laporte.
Hey, hello, Mr. Laporte. Thank you for taking my call. Basically, my problem is I can't get Windows to start. I recently bought a laptop. It had Vista originally. I bought some software, music sequencing software.
So you bought it used because nobody's selling Vista laptops these days.
Yeah, right. And, but I had a Windows 7 disk my brother provided me. And basically, like a software that I bought for it wasn't Vista compatible. So I tried to install Windows 7. It worked fine for a while. And I downloaded a DVD, CD burning trial, software trial, and it froze up.
Oh.
So I had to turn it off, and ever since then, I tried to launch Startup Repair. Never worked. I tried to.
So every time you turn it on, what happens?
The screen comes up with the F12 option, but anytime I try to,
Does it ever say loading Windows, or does it not even get to that point?
No, it gets to that point, and it has the little Windows pulsing logo.
Oh, you even get the logo. Oh, that's good. But then it just stops.
Sure. No, actually, no. It goes to you get these little mouse icon, like the cursor.
Yeah.
The pointer cursor, but the entire background is black, and I can move it around.
So it's not booting is not completing. So have you tried booting to safe mode and see if that works?
That's not even an option. It doesn't give me.
You have to hold down the Shift key as it's booting, or tap F8 as it's booting. Usually, just holding down the Shift key is sufficient. And see if you could get the menu. You'll get a start menu on there, and try safe mode with networking. See if you can get it to boot all the way. If you can't, then your hard drive is damaged. You should just wipe it and reinstall Windows 7 and hope that it works this time.
Okay, so holding down Shift or
holding on Shift as you go from power down. As you press the Shift key, then turn it on, and it'll go into that menu at some point. And then choose safe mode with networking. That means you're running with the minimal set of drivers. You're not launching any special video drivers or anything. See, one of the things it could be is just maybe you've got a bad video driver. When you launch in safe mode, you use the generic VGA driver. It looks terrible, but at least it gets going and Windows is running and everything. And that will tell you, oh, there's a damaged driver on here. But if you get the same thing where you can move the mouse around, but you're getting a blank screen, it means that the hard drive, the Windows install is damaged, probably because of a hard drive that's flaky. It's an older hard drive, and so it may well be that that the older hard drive is kind of wearing out. That's the first thing to go. It's moving parts. So try that. Try booting with this into safe mode. If that works, and even if it doesn't, probably what you're going to want to do is reinstall Windows 7 anyway. Sounds like you haven't gotten very far. Make sure you install it with a format. So as you run the installer, when you get to the options, you can actually reformat the drive, and I would do that. I would do that. If a Shift doesn't work, and it does on most modern operating systems, but this is an older computer, F8 is the magic key. You just tap that, the function key 8 at the top of the keyboard. Tap that, and that'll work as well. Mike in Glendale, California. Hi, Mike. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. Welcome back from your vacation. I know
Thank you.
Had a couple weeks back. But
had such a good time in Hawaii. I loved it.
Sounds great. Listen, I have a two-part question, if you have the time, that is.
All right.
And I'm looking at different options for maybe a temporary financial fixes right now in my life. And one of them is dropping my DSL landline phone bundle from AT&T because it just keeps going up and up and up. It's like over $70 this last month.
Yeah.
But what I'm understanding is I can use my laptop Wi-Fi anyway if I go to like the Starbucks or the library. Now, is that true?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
So then I don't really technically need my DSL.
Not if you're willing to sit in the library or Starbucks, or if you're willing to eat a Big Mac and you can get it free at McDonald's, many coffee shops. Wi-Fi seems to be almost everywhere these days, and in most cases it's free as long as you buy a coffee.
Right. Now, here's the question. Does that mean I should get a Wi-Fi protector or whatever that is?
Well, okay. So you're asking a very important question. A lot of people use open Wi-Fi access points. There's some risk, and the reason is you're on a network with other people.
Right.
So when you're sitting in Starbucks, everybody else who's sitting in Starbucks online is on the same network. It's as if they were in your house on your network. They can, they can attack your computer. They can see traffic getting sent through the air. They can, using hacker tools that are widely available, watch the broadcasts going through the air. Where that's risky is, for instance, if your email program does not encrypt the password as you log in. Modern email, if you're using Google's Gmail, then you're fine.
Yeah, I do.
Then you're good. So Google, in response to this, encrypts everything. There was an attack that was a problem with Facebook and some other systems over Wi-Fi. We used a program called Firesheep, which was a Firefox add-on that would let me log in as you on Facebook by stealing your Facebook token. But Facebook's responded to that by turning on HTTPS. If you use secure HTTP in all your transactions, when you're on Amazon shopping, it's on. When you're using Gmail, it's on. When you use Facebook, make sure you turn that on. Then you're protecting yourself on the wireless network. You're safe.
Yeah.
Now, if you go into a shop and they give you a WPA password, then at least your traffic going through the air is unencrypted, but you're still on the network with other people. They have the same WPA password. They're sitting on the network, so they can still attack you. So that's why it's almost always a good idea to have a firewall on your system, and Windows and Macintosh both have firewalls. Make sure they're turned on.
Yeah, mine's on.
Good. And then you make sure that when you're doing stuff you don't want other people to see, that you're doing it over a secure connection.
Yeah. Now, so you're saying it's not necessary to go and buy one of those?
You can get a VPN, for $10 a month. But the whole point of this was to save you money, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think as long as you're aware that anything that's not HTTPS, anything that's not securely encrypted is visible. If you're shopping for shoes on Zappos.com and it's floating through the air, if you don't care if somebody sees those shoes, I don't, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The things you want to protect are when you log onto your bank, that's secure. When you use Gmail, that's secure. I mention this because there are people whose internet service provider's email does not encrypt the password. Those people should be very worried about using an open Wi-Fi access point.
Yeah.
So ask your internet service provider, whoever you're using for email, make sure that password is encrypted. Otherwise, somebody could steal it, and then they don't even have to be in the coffee shop to get your email and check it. That's a very dangerous situation. But otherwise, I think if you know what you're doing, you're safe. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your traffic is encrypted, but you're on the same network. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Christine's on the line from Malacca Hill, New Jersey. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Leo.
Welcome. What can I do for you?
Well, my boyfriend has an HTC M7, and out of nowhere, it just started rebooting over and over.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, so now I got it to the bootloader, but his friend told him to click recovery, and he did that, and then it just went to a black screen.
Nice
and now
friend. So it's the old HTC One. Old, by old, I mean a year old. Great phone. I love it. I have its successor, the HTC One from 2014, the M8. But this can happen to any phone. When a phone reboots over and over, generally it means something's wrong with the phone, right? Obviously. Mm-hmm. Probably with the phone's data storage, the firmware is mangled or something like that. He never rooted it or anything. He didn't play with it like that, did he?
No, it's completely stock.
Yeah. They call it a boot loop. Best thing to do is bring it back to the phone store. And it may even still be under warranty. Did he get it recently? When did he get it?
No, he got it about a year ago.
About a year ago.
Actually, waiting for a new phone.
Yeah, I mean, it's the recovery mode can be helpful if you have rooted it and you've done some things to put other ROMs on there. But since he's all stock, I don't know if it would do anything or not. It's definitely a problem with the firmware. The firmware is damaged. Could be because the storage is damaged. It could just be, things get messed up sometimes.
Yeah.
You could call HTC, see if they could support you. Who's your carrier?
He's with T-Mobile.
Yeah, T-Mobile's pretty good. I would bring it into a T-Mobile store. I really like their service. I would bring it into a T-Mobile store and see if they can help you. What they might be able to do is, I presume when he got into recovery, did it give him choices to wipe the data?
No, actually,
It's because it's a stock recovery. I don't think you get very many options. He could try to root it and put a different firmware on there or put a different recovery on there. If you have third-party recovery, like Clockwork Mod on there, it allows you to wipe the phone and reinstall. And usually that's successful. But if it's a stock phone, it hasn't been modified in any way, it's unusual that they would do that.
Okay, and now he's really worried about losing his pictures and everything.
Yeah, well then that's not a good solution because that would definitely erase everything. Got to always back up that phone, my friends.
Yeah, I told him.
Always gotta. So check when he gets into recovery mode, and so you turn the phone off all the way. You can't remove the battery on the M7, but turn the phone off all the way, and then press and hold the home, on, and volume up button until you get into recovery. Look and see. Somebody's saying that there is a factory reset option. He may not have wanted to pick that because it would erase all of the stuff, but it may be the only way to get that going again. The good news is if he's been storing pictures and other data on the SD card, there's an imaginary, I know you're saying, well, wait, there's no SD card. There's an imaginary SD card, and it does not wipe that. It just wipes the storage where the operating system lies. So if he can't get it started, call HTC, visit T-Mobile. If they say, oh, yeah, we got to do a reset, then go ahead and do the reset, and that will get the phone working again, and I hope will preserve his pictures.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Hey, nice to talk to you. Thanks for calling, Christine.
Bye-bye.
Brad in Oak Park, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Brad.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Fine, thanks. I have a quick question.
Yes.
First of all, I'm not a computer person. My wife is, and she's listening on the radio right now.
So I'll use baby words for you, and then I'll talk geeky for her. Just teasing.
Yeah,
I'll use the same language. It's called English for both of you.
My issue is I use the iPad all the time, and up until a few days ago, I was able to log on to all my little accounts that I have, and now I can't log on to anything. And she's able to log on her computer. So we tried resetting the passwords on iPad, no luck. Resetting on her.
Wait a minute, she can log on, same login and password, but you can't?
Right, on the iPad, and she's on a different computer altogether. And I don't know, there was one day I was on the iPad, and before I logged on to something, I actually accidentally pressed something flashing saying you're the 100th viewer.
Oh dear.
Well, it brought me to this thing.
You're not the 100th viewer. I got news for you.
Well, I didn't submit anything. I went back, so it was still flashing. So I didn't even do anything. I didn't submit anything. I didn't.
This was on your iPad?
This was on the iPad.
Yeah. Well, good news. It's impossible to hack the iPad, so I think you're okay.
Okay. Because
yeah.
So
that's just a pop-up in the browser. You shouldn't see it. I'm surprised you see it, but it's not. You can't. It's not malware. You can't get malware on your iPad.
So after that,
But in general, when you see that, don't click that, okay?
No, I will not again. No. But after
guess
that,
what? You're not the 100th viewer. I can promise you.
No, I agree. But after that, I was able to log on to 3 of my little accounts that I have.
Let's do this. Just maybe you've already done it. Have you turned the iPad all the way off?
I've turned it all the way off.
You know, that's pressing and holding the power button, slide to power off, and then powering it off and then powering it up again. You've done that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's still, you can't log in.
Can't log in, even when we try to reset.
Does it act as if it doesn't know the password?
Yeah. And it doesn't know. Yeah.
Are you sure you're typing it right?
I'm typing it.
Forgive. That's so weird.
No, I'm typing it. Even
She doesn't have an L that looks like a 1, but it's really an L or anything like that? Because, to be honest, there's no reason why that password shouldn't work. It should work.
Okay. I even went back. Even I'm trying to figure out. I go back to the Safari and look at resetting and
no, you shouldn't have to reset it. You can log on with that password on her computer, right?
Yes.
And you can log on. Have you tried other iPads, for instance?
No, I have not.
Which password is it? Is it the iCloud password, the iTunes Store password?
No, it's just I'm on just on the internet, and I'm trying to get onto a stock.
So it's a website password.
Yes, it's a website.
And you're going to the website. She can log onto it with the email and the password that she's given you. Works fine. But when you try to do it on your iPad, it won't work.
It won't work.
Have you been able to log onto that website ever before?
Oh, yeah, all the time, up until that stupid flashing thing. And that's why I go, God, did I bug this thing? Or up until that point, now I'm not able to do anything.
That makes no sense.
I get all my emails. I get my emails and all that stuff.
Yeah, everything else is working. It's just one stock site you can't get on.
Well, it's 3. I have 3 little...
3 different sites, same problems, different passwords, right?
Exactly.
Different passwords, email address, password. You enter it. All 3 of these sites say, no, that's not the password.
Right. It's not verified. But able to get on through her computer or my daughter's other computer.
That's just bizarre.
So I didn't know if you had
the only thing I could think of is that your browser cache has been damaged. I don't remember on the iPad how to clear that. I'm not sure. Let me look on my settings here and see. You're using Safari, the built-in browser on the iPad, right? You're not using some third-party browser, are you?
No. It's whatever's on the iPad.
Go to settings and I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'll tell you how to clear that. Leo Laporte and the GizWiz. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That's very odd. Very, very odd. I don't know how to get rid of it. Well, it could be this new caps lock, which is, I just hate the iPad keyboard. Well, or the iPhone keyboard. Both of them have the same basic fundamental flaw, which is you can't tell if caps lock is on or not. I guess you could... None of this makes any sense. Could be the caps lock is the only thing I can think of. It's PebCap for sure. Settings, Safari. Clear history, clear cookies and data. All right. So go to your settings, then scroll down to Safari, and then go here to clear history, clear cookies and data. And it'll say, really? Really? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to clear history and cookies and data? That's got to be it, right? It's got to be a cookie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Just to quickly, before we head to the GizWiz, Mad's maddest writer, Dick DeBartolo, let me help Brad in Oak Park out. For some reason, his passwords aren't working. I suggest what you do is you clear... Well, there's a couple of things to do. First of all, we can test whether Safari has somehow stored a weird cookie by going into Safari, pressing the plus button. This is on the iPad. And then in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see a button that says private. Tap that, and you'll go into private mode. Once you're in private mode, now try logging in. If that logs in, it means there was a cookie stored in your browser that is somehow screwing things up. If that's the case, what you can also do is go into your settings, scroll down to the Safari entry in settings, and you'll see clear history at the bottom and clear cookies and data. That effectively resets Safari, the browser, to its original state. Now, maybe that the site you're visiting does something weird for password authentication. Perhaps they set a cookie in your browser, for instance. And if that's the case, then you won't be able to log into that cookie is set. But there's a couple of things to at least try. Hey, guess who's here? Mad Magazine's maddest writer and the Gizwiz, Dick DeBartolo, every week at this time. Dick signs in, joins us to talk about some crazy gadget or other. Hello, Dick.
Leo, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, too. Yeah, I have a fun gadget about, might be as far back as 10 years ago. People were buying those old-fashioned Bell Weston or Western Electric handsets that were Bluetooth, so that when your cell phone rang, you could whip out this old handset. Well, did you have one? I think you had one of those.
I have one. In fact, we used it on the Gizwiz on your podcast.
I think, yes.
Remember
yes,
Father Robert Ballister? I gave it to him. It was a red phone with a dial.
Yes, yes.
And I gave it to him, and he went out in the street, sat in the street, and called a chicken. You remember that?
Yes, I do. I do.
Or was that just a dream? I think that might have been a dream.
No, that really happened. It was not
weird.
A dream. It was a nightmare, but it really happened. So if you're into retro stuff, there's a fun device. We saw it at CES, but now it's in the marketplace called the Brick.
The Brick.
And it is indeed a phone that looks like the old Brick, like James Bond had in the early James Bond movies. They're at meetthebrick.com, and it's Bluetooth. So when your cell phone rings and you're at a showcase, you can haul out the brick phone.
Oh, this is like the old cell phones from way back when.
Yes, exactly. The original cell phones.
Oh, this is like in Wall Street. Michael Douglas had this, right?
Yes, exactly. But they've added a lot of neat features. So it's Bluetooth. It can pull in your address book. You can answer your Bluetooth calls through it. It has a SIM card slot.
So it's a cell phone.
It's a cell phone. It's a cell phone. It's a flashlight.
It's ugly.
It has
What is going on in this world? So there's been this movement in cell phones to make them smarter, thinner, faster. But there seems to be still a market for something that is older, slower, and clunkier.
Exactly. Like one of the features is camera-free. And I might add app-free.
It's cheap, too. It's $70. That's a good price.
Exactly. And it has a little LED screen, backlit. So if you like fun things and you want to run around with a brick phone, you can find it at meetthebrick.com.
Who'd have thought there'd be a market? It's so funny. Now it looks like you still need a. Do you still need a cell phone, or can you use this as your cell phone?
No, if you have a 2G SIM card, it can go directly into this.
2G.
Yeah, I know. Ooh. It's going to be, yes, exactly. Otherwise, your Bluetooth phone calls will go through it.
So you can pair it. You can pair it to your phone, or it could be the phone. Either way.
Exactly.
Wild.
Exactly. Exactly. And as an SD card slot, you can just put card in and play music.
Oh, that's got to sound good.
Yeah, exactly. And an FM radio, too. No, not that good.
Gizwiz.biz. Why do I say that? I think it's a condition. No, it's the website of Dick DeBartolo, GIZWIZ.biz. It's where you could see the gadgets Dick talks about on this show, or the gadgets he shows on ABC's World News Now, the new baby saddle. And I presume you're going to have the brick on here as well. What is that? Is that a llama?
Yeah, just click on the tech guy, and
there's all the stuff. You can also, while you're clicking, click on that brick that says, "What the heck is it? A new chance to win a Mad Magazine autographed by Dickie here." August through the end of August, July, August, you're going to pick out whatever that is. Do you know what this is? Because didn't somebody send this to you? I
bought it and I forgot what I ordered. I order a lot of stuff from.
Wait a minute. So it arrived, and you opened it, and you said, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah, exactly. I get emails with the pictures of things coming from. I don't know where they come in. It just says, and I buy it. But usually it comes with a little picture of how to use it.
I
And
think
this
it's a tongue depressor for horses, is what I think.
something like that.
Yeah.
Came in a box with no return.
I don't know why you would order this.
Just a box with this blue thing. Especially, I thought, well, boy, that's weird looking. Let me buy that for the what the heck is it? But I thought I would remember, but I did not.
No. So now you're actually you're killing two birds with one stone.
People are helping me out.
Helping Dick and perhaps winning an autographed Mad magazine. Go to gizwiz.biz for all the rules. Dick, thank you so much.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
talk to you again next week. And, of course, stick around, folks, because coming up a little later this afternoon, Dick does a little podcast on our network called The Giz Fizz. And that's at twit.tv. And then, of course, you're still on Tuesdays, but you're moving to Thursdays. We haven't moved yet, right?
No, we're on Wednesdays, and we're moving to Thursday.
I knew I'd get it one day.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It's one of the above.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one of those.
Wednesdays about 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join Dick in here and have a lot of fun with Dick and his co-host, Chad. OMG Chad.
OMG Chad.
Thank you, Dickie D.
Time.
Can I tell you about another website? TechGuyLabs.com. That's where we put the audio and video from the show. We put the questions and the answers. You put your comments. It's got a link to our chat room and all sorts of stuff where you can find the show in every state of this fine union of ours. TechGuyLabs.com. And as always, it's free and accessible. No, we don't charge you. You get the podcasts there. They're free. Everything's free. Thanks to our great sponsors like Squarespace. TechGuyLabs.com. We'll be back next time to talk more. Don't forget, tomorrow, big day, 45th anniversary of the moonwalk. You don't remember that, Heather. I do. I remember getting up in my jammies with my mom and my dad and watching the gray, black and white, grainy picture from the moon. As Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon. And NASA TV is bringing that back in high def tomorrow starting at 10:30 p.m. It's on the web, NASA TV. You may have it on your cable company as well. Sometimes some cable companies carry NASA TV. If you don't have it on your Comcast, don't call them. My advice, just don't. The less you talk to somebody at Comcast, the happier your life will be. Never. I'm telling you.
Did you watch the moon landing in your little footy pajamas?
I think I was wearing footy pajamas. It's 1969. No, I was 13. I was still in footy pajamas. Thank you, Heather Hammond, our phone ranger. We'll see y'all next time. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.